Snohomish County Sheriff's Office is comprised of over 800 employees actually, and that kind of encompasses, we have deputy sheriffs who are out on the streets responding to 911 calls and being proactive policing in our communities. We have civilian staff all over the sheriff's office, both within a correctional facility and out our precincts, east, north, and south precincts. And then we run the third largest jail in the state of Washington. It's actually the largest bureau in the sheriff's office. They're responsible for about 275 of those employees, which includes corrections deputies. There's command staff in there, and we have 24/7 medical. We have a dentist that comes in. We have mental health professionals, all sorts of stuff in corrections that I think not everybody realizes, but we do all of the above at Snohomish County. I've been sheriff for the last 3 years, so I'm in the kind of the midst of my 4th year. It's different in every county. For Snohomish County, it's 3 4-year terms. Well, that's an interesting story actually. So there's no law enforcement in my personal background whatsoever. I'm kind of one of those guys that probably could have gone either way in my later teenage years, and I joined the Navy right out of high school, which kind of I think was my saving grace, kind of really squared me away early on in life. And then once I got out of the military, I worked in private construction in the Seattle area for a couple years, and worked out in the weather in Western Washington, which always isn't comfortable. And I think the good Lord just put public safety on my heart, and I kind of dove into that process. And in the mid-90s, which is when I got into the business, it was difficult to get in, but I ended up testing. I got in with Snohomish County, and I've been there ever since.
I love helping people. That's really what it comes down to, and I also really enjoy, I'm a canine handler, so I really enjoy finding bad people that do bad things to people in the community.
Absolutely. One, I do recommend it. It's been a weird 3 years in public safety in the state of Washington, but I got asked this question a little bit in a different format or context just a few weeks ago. The question was posed to me, would you recommend your own kids get into this profession? And I answered different than I think some will, just because it's been difficult, and I do recommend my kids. None of them have taken me up on it yet, but I encourage the next generation to get into public safety. Yes, even in the state of Washington, even in Western Washington, we are progressive in this area. I think we do a really good job. We treat people right, and it is great to kind of if you have any sense of service in you, in your heart at all, I would absolutely recommend public safety. So in public safety, you can pretty much do whatever you want. And this is the cool thing about public safety, or at least Snohomish County, we're a fairly large agency. You can get in and then transfer to different roles. So you can actually have different career paths while remaining an employee of the Snohomish County Sheriff's Office. So I already mentioned we have a 3rd largest jail in the state of Washington. Anything that you want to do in there, including, we have registered nurses. We have first ever in history, we have a full-time physician that works within our correctional facility, to corrections deputies, to record staff, to accounting techs. It's almost a small city, to be honest with you, the entire sheriff's office is. So anything you want to do that you can think of in the realm of public safety, we offer it.
You can start on with the car. I drive a marked patrol car, just like everyone else. However, there's no back seat. The back seat has basically a built-in dog kennel, and then one of the doors, actually on the passenger side, has basically a garage door opener that opens the passenger side door. It's called the door pop, and I have a remote control, much like your home garage door opener, where I can push it, dog comes out. So what we do as canine handlers is we drive around on patrol just like everyone else, being proactive and looking for some of the bad folks that are out there in the community. We'll also respond and assist patrol when a suspect flees from them or flees from a crime scene. We'll also go out and look for evidence. For instance, if a suspect runs and throws a gun, let's say they're running through a park, threw a gun off in the bushes, I'll bring my police dog, whose name is Doc, and I will bring him out to the scene and give him his search command, and he'll begin searching for that piece of evidence. Doc is my 3-year-old German Shepherd Malinois mix. He has the mentality of a 2.5-year-old child and about the same attention span. So the dogs are pretty amazing. So if your home was, let's say you had a home invasion robbery, you wreck home, the suspects broke into your home, hurt you and your family, and they fled on foot. We can bring a dog to the scene and take them to the last known location of where the suspects were seen flee. Bring the dog up. You'll actually begin to see the dog working using its nose as you're approaching the scene, beginning to start to work the odor. I bring my dog up to the location where they were last seen running, and I'll put Doc into a down, so I'll tell him down, and take his tracking line, put it on his tracking harness, and give him his tracking command. He will then begin working the odor and figuring out where the suspect ran from or ran to. And then most of the time it's off to the races, and where he'll begin tracking, displaying his tracking behavior, which is for him is kind of a nose down, hovering over the ground, and his tail is kind of flared up like a, I guess, upside down rainbow or banana. And he's very focused on what he's doing, and like things that would normally distract him don't distract him. So the purpose of the Snohomish County Canine Foundation is community outreach. So getting out in the community and talking to folks about the values of police dogs, how they help keep the community safe, how they help keep law enforcement safe. It's also to help the members of the Canine Foundation, which are 9 members. That's 6 Snohomish County dogs, 2 City of Arlington dogs, and 1 Mill Creek police dog. It's to assist them with continuing education, and a lot of these law enforcement police canine programs are pretty expensive. And because of the Canine Foundation and the funds that we raise through the foundation from support of companies just like Zetron that step up and support us, we're able to attend a lot of these trainings, and also big equipment purchases. A lot of the equipment that we purchase is expensive. For instance, the canine storm vests that all of our dogs are equipped with are about $3,000 to purchase. So that's just an example of the cost of these vests. So the foundation steps up. The way that I have explained the Canine Foundation to people is that the government likes its cake, but can't afford to pay for the frosting. Well, the Canine Foundation is the frosting on the cake. If a person were to donate to the Snohomish County Canine Foundation, those monies would go directly into the foundation to the support of the continuing education and the police dogs for the purchase of new police dogs. If we had, that's the benefit of this foundation as well. So if Doc were to get hurt tomorrow and no longer be able to work, we can next week fly out to Denver, Indiana, where we buy our dogs from a very reputable vendor there, and which the purchase of a new police dog is roughly $10,000, and we can go out and buy a new police dog for me or whoever else might need it. Must love dogs, just like the movie. And you gotta be patient. But first of all, you gotta be an officer or a deputy for a law enforcement agency. You got to work hard, have a proven track record, do not have any discipline that would prevent a handler from prevent an officer or deputy from becoming a handler. And got to have a lot of grit. Being a canine handler is probably the hardest job in law enforcement. It's been dubbed the best, worst job in law enforcement because there's a lot of ups and downs. 1 minute you're the hero, you found the bad guy. Next minute you're the zero because you haven't found the bad guy, just for whatever reason, they got in the car or whatever. So more often than not, it's just like baseball. There's a long walk back to the car with just you and your dog, wondering where did this guy go?